In chapter 9 of the book, we talk about money. I'm going to give you some really basic explanations of how money works. Okay, so this will include an explanation of barter and how money is better than barter. Okay, so once again, we're going to work with Jake and Ben, but this time we're going to add Harry to the equation. All right, we're starting with Jake and Ben first. Jake, he makes shoes. Jake makes shoes. Ben is a fisherman. Ben is a fisherman. And Jake wants some fish, and it just so happens that Ben wants some shoes, and so they trade, and Jake gets some fish, and Ben gets some shoes. What we have here is a coincidence of needs. All right, so the barter system works. The fish is valuable to Jake because he's hungry, and Ben is barefoot, and so the shoes are valuable to him, and he's willing to trade a certain number of fish for a pair of shoes. Coincidence of needs. Now, the next day, Jake gets hungry again. His problem is that Ben's shoes have not worn out, and so Ben doesn't want shoes anymore. Jake still wants some fish. So now, Jake's got a problem, and what he needs to do is go find somebody who wants shoes and has something that Ben wants. All right, so he searches and searches. He finds Harry, and Harry plays the flute. Harry plays the flute. So after doing a lot of research, Jake found out that Ben's daughter is getting married, and he needs somebody to play the flute at the wedding. Okay, and it just so happens that Jake is very fortunate that Harry is barefoot, because people who play the flute for a living, there's just a few of them that make a good bit of money. James Galway is one of them, but that's about it. Okay, so most people that play the flute don't make a lot of money, and he's shoeless. So Jake, who is really hungry and wants some fish, he talks Harry into taking a pair of shoes from Jake so that Harry will play the flute at Ben's wedding, and then in exchange, Ben agrees to give Jake some food. And so Jake has now eaten twice in a row. 2 days in a row, Jake has been able to eat some fish. Now, the problem for Jake is that he's going to have to do this every day. Okay, Ben's daughter is only getting married once, and so he's not going to need the flute again for a while, but Jake's going to need fish every single day. So he's got to find some better way to do this. Really, this problem exists for everybody in society, and so what they decide to do is, instead of bartering, they stop this whole business and they start using gold and silver. Right? They use coins. This is supposed to be a face of somebody stamped onto the gold coin. Now, the reason this works is Jake's problem initially was that he had to find a coincidence of needs. He had shoes that he wanted to trade for fish. Well, he had to find somebody who had fish and wanted some shoes. All right, so he had to establish a coincidence of needs in order to do this barter. If Ben didn't want what Jake had, but Jake still wanted what Ben had, then Jake had to establish a double coincidence of needs in order to establish this barter, okay, this one-step barter. And that takes a lot of work. It's inefficient. Sometimes it doesn't work at all, and Jake goes hungry. So what these guys did was they decided to use gold and silver as a medium of exchange. It works because gold is rare, it's pretty, it's precious. The thing about it is, everybody wants it. because you can buy anything with gold because everybody wants it. I mean, it's kind of circular, but that's the way it works. It has intrinsic value. This piece of metal here is rare and precious and works in the community to buy anything you like. So that's money. Okay, this dollar, this piece of paper, this is just paper and it has no intrinsic value of its own. It's worthless. Okay? It's only worth anything because people have to use it. Here's what I mean. Know about liberty. Okay, we only use dollars because we have to. And here's why. Let's say that Ben, he sells cars. And Jake wants a car. And Ben agrees to take on Jake's debt. All right, so he lets Jake go ahead and have the car. And then in exchange, Jake agrees to pay $10,000 over a period of time. We'll say 5 years. Okay? 5 years. Let's just say that 2 years later, Jake still owes $6,000. And he goes to Ben and says, Ben, I'm going to offer to pay you this $6,000 all up front right now. Okay, here it is. $6,000. And he brings out cash or a check or anything denominated in dollars. Here's Ben's response is, you know, we've had so much inflation lately and I don't have any more confidence in the dollar. Foreigners don't have any confidence in the dollar. They're unloading all their treasuries and other government bonds. And so I don't want dollars. I want you to pay me in gold. Everybody's buying gold and that's what I want. So he refuses the $6,000 cash. Now the law says that the moment he refuses that $6,000, the debt is canceled. He cannot insist on payment in gold or any other currency for that matter. He must accept the legal tender. When Jake tenders $6,000, if Ben refuses it, the debt is canceled. So in that way, we're forced to accept dollars. That's the only reason it has any value. It really, the paper itself has no intrinsic value the way gold coins do. So that's how money works.